Okay, we've got to make a choice on the orientation. They're showing us two views, and based on this view being either the front or the top, if we call this the isometric, then this will be the front view, and we'll be drawing that way. But the origin they're showing is actually floating out here. So millimeters, part location as indicated, symmetric, maybe um, cylindrical or a rotated pattern, line circles, center line circles, arcs, and extruded boss. Well, it'll probably be a couple, well, maybe a couple cuts in there. All right, it also looks like there is a counter bore from that side. So if we draw all of this sketch here and bring the boss this way, or the three bosses, what would be up from the front plane, then build this geometry on top of it, then we could cut back through. Now, there comes a point with the contours and regions where we're going to start to make this too complicated. So what I really want to look at doing is, based on the geometry here, is define this shape, the locations of the three bosses, and there's the radius of 16. That seems pretty big. Radius of 15. Okay, we're going to have to look at that because that would be 30 and that would be 32. Yeah, not quite thinking about that one. Doesn't look like there is a dimension for the offset for the lip. All right, so those are some issues we're going to have to resolve as we get into this geometry. So millimeters, new millimeter. I'm going to go with the front plane, and we'll go ahead and start the sketch. So the body. Did I get it? No. Okay. Make sure that I'm clicking at least one of the sketches to get into the red origin with the conformation corner. So the circle, and it is showing us a radius of 43. And I do want to go ahead and put that dimension on there because we're going to get the larger number. I can do the math and come up with 86, but if I switch this over to radius, which again was just a right click, going to the context pop-up and hitting display radius, then it's just as easy as double clicking again and typing 43. All right, our circles then, we're going to have one at the quadrant, and let's see, do we want to go with the pattern? They really didn't throw us a pattern yet, but let's go with the circular sketch pattern. And the parameters then will be the center as the rotation. We want 3 and equal spacing, and we'll go ahead and accept. All right, so those look like they stayed fully defined. So there are times where those points will not be fully defined, but then we have to do a little more with the sketch, a little more manipulation or add a relation. All right, so this radius will be 15 because we're drawing the main body, and I didn't double it. So let's do the radius thing again. Right click, radius 30. Oh, now it can be 15. All right, too many numbers, and we'll that will get us our basic. I'm still thinking about that, how that 16 is going to play into the mix. All right, so let's go ahead and really we have enough geometry, but I do want to fill out the through hole is also, let's see, radius 3 times 18. Nope. So the outer, oh, there we go. We have 6 and 3. So they're still throwing all of these radiuses. They may have just gotten into the habit of doing the 6 and selected the wrong one, so I'm just hitting escape on the keyboard. And 12. All right, and again, I want to see these in terms that are similar to the drawing. So I have the radius of 6 in the lower left for the outer circle, and the radius of 3 kind of in the middle. And then let's go ahead and see what a diameter of 16 looks like. All right, so in my clicks there, I'm basically just selecting out of the dimension, finding a place to put that, and then if we go 16, let's fly in our drawing again. Oh, notifications. The 16 looks reasonable to the size of the counterbore, so we'll go with that. All right, so again, if I want to circular pattern, I also have those other items to work with. So I guess the question I really need to ask is, do I need the counterbore from this side? So that radius of 6 isn't really that functional yet. All right, so let's go ahead and make so the 16. I think that one's going to confuse me. If you do get a warning, it just means that there is geometry in there that has a dimension on it, and this is just making sure. And we're going to select, control, select, and make equal. Select, control, select, and make equal. All right, at this point, I think I'm in pretty good shape to go ahead and start building this out. So let's go into the Extrude Boss base. And we had an overall of 18 with the 2 flanges, or the 2 steps, being a total of 6. So we're going to extrude these out to 12, make sure our selected contours are highlighted. And for this one, I am going to go to contour and contour because I want the hole to be included. And I won't have to pick and try to do regions. It's still going to be the same number of picks. It just visually makes a little more sense. So let's go ahead and accept. All right, so that gives us our first bit of geometry. We go back into the sketch, Extrude Boss base. I want for my my geometry, I'm going to go ahead and make it 6, and we're in sketch. So we're going to pick, and this is where seeing through the noise is becoming a more valuable skill. So I'm going to stay with the contours. Now, if I'd picked the contour here, it would have kind of cut that in half. So I think the region is better there. Now, to get this offset, to get this to another location, we have this additional parameter, this additional from condition that says I can pick a surface and move all of that up that way. So let's see what that produces. All right, my check then is to go this direction and make sure that it's 18. And then we're going to take one last look of, reasonably, I'm not seeing a 3, but 3 by 3 by 3. We'll see how close we get to the volume, but if there's a miss in the volume, I'm going to think it's probably going to be that offset step. So let's go ahead and open up the sketch. Do I want the radiuses in there? Yeah, they're going to go ahead and put radiuses in. So let's get the fillet in. Over to features. Oh, I already opened up the sketch, so I do need to kick out of that. We'll just go ahead and discard changes. We'll go with the fillet, and if you're watching the context menus, you can pull the fillet from there, but the command manager will always be there as well. So let's go to our radius of 7. And when I pick the second one, we're looking for that preview to pick the remaining. Now when I open up the sketch and I am looking, I can either select the loop or the tangency. The tangency will take us all the way around, and we're going to go 3 and then reverse the offset and see what that looks like. So I would say that's reasonable. Maybe it was 2. We don't, since we're missing a dimension, that becomes a little bit of the issue. All right, so if we needed to, we could either sketch over top of this. We haven't introduced the convert entities yet, but we certainly could. But the easier is just to go ahead and extrude cut, which is going to show you initially the inside. And we do know that it is 3 millimeters. But then we have this little button that says cut to the outside. So leave everything that's on the inside, cut to the outside, and we do the same thing as if we had to pick that outside edge. All right, so let's back up 1. I'll just go ahead and undo so that we can get back into the sketch. So since I brought up the convert entities, I'm going to go ahead and select tangency. Convert entities is a tool that says everything that's selected, bring it into the sketch. Now instead of having to flip the side to cut, I can just go ahead and extrude cut. It sees it as an enclosed region. Since it's all continuous, I don't even have to pick contours and regions. We just go ahead and hit OK. All right, on the back side then, or top side, whichever way we're looking at this, we're going to do the sketch. We'll go back in and pick up our radius of 6, diameter of 12. And I'm just hovering over the circle to where I see those center points. All right, and then very quickly either looking for coincident or concentric. If I hit escape on the keyboard, the last circle still highlighted, so I can go right into my control select, make equal. And then the smart dimension goes to 12. And this is going to be 12 deep. We have the total of overall height of 18. It is 6 millimeters off of the depth. So we're going to just cut in 12. And I will save the offset from surfaces a little bit later. So there is good reason in the design intent to say that this thickness would always be if I have to make changes, and that would be where we use the end conditions for the offset from surface. So our numbers, let's see how close we got. We have 42 to 36. And we're going to go into mass properties, and we are at 41,586. So I would say whatever this value is, which we can go in and change. Let's do, it needs to be a little bit bigger. Wasn't that one, it was that one. So if you need to make changes on the fly, it is double click, identify the dimension, and because I clicked on the sketch, I'm only going to have sketch dimensions. So let's change that to 2 millimeters. Nothing really happens. We're going to rebuild, and I'm not in the habit of hitting the rebuild out of the modify box, so I just go ahead and hit rebuild, or we can do Control B or Control Q, and mass properties 42,528. So a little closer. 200 one way, 200 the other way. So we're gonna have to pick one, and for an optional model, this is going to be fine. So once again, let's take a look at where our planes ended up. And if we rotate that around just a little bit, you can see it a little better that we have the geometry in the shape that is closest to the drawing. All right, so we'll finish this one up here.